Okay, I'm proud to announce that I'm taking part in this year's self-published science fiction competition, also known as SPSFC. This is the first time this competition will be running, and it's the first time I'll be attempting to judge anything. And now I've been following the competition for over the year. I only just found out they actually call it SPSFC, so better late than never. A run through of what I plan to do and achieve. I'd like to provide as many mini reviews as possible to all books allocated to my group. In the beginning, we're only reading about 20% of each book. Why is that, you ask? Because SPSFC has a lot of books to get through and only so much time to read them in. So the first phase is broken up into teams. I'm in team science fiction news with a stack of other judges. As an individual, we vote yes or no on a 20% sampling of each book we read, and all the votes are tallied up. The most yes voted books go on into the next phase, where we read them in their entirety and narrow it down to just 2 books. Once we have our 2 books, all the judge teams will come together with their own 2 books, and this is pretty much the semi-finals, where all of us read these 2 books, judge them until we decide a winner. I should add that the simple yes-no vote is only for the first phase. After that, we go on to a more complex ranking out of 10 star system. A fair few judges don't like the read 10 to 20% initial phase, and they will go on to read all the books. It's a bit of a toss-up. We've got a lot of books to go through, so if someone's a quick reader and they have the time and the ability, that's good for them. But me, myself, I'm mildly dyslexic. It takes me a long time to read, much longer than the average person. So unfortunately, I would like to read every single one of them from the start, but I won't be able to. I'm sure several individuals will go through that and hopefully provide pretty good feedback. So my ratings will be based just on the first 20%. As a consequence, there'll be by no means complete reviews. It will just be a reflection of the beginning of these books. This is this whole adventure is quite a leap for me. I'm not the most reliable soul to begin with. Being a slow reader itself makes it hard, but other things tend to get in the way. And if I'm being honest, I often find reading exhausting. I love it, but it more likely puts me to sleep. I am determined to give it a shot. I want to give it my all. At the very least, I want to go through the first phase and get all the way through that. That would be pretty. And the reason behind this was because I actually entered my book into SPSFC. I had no delusions. I knew it would be an absolute miracle to even get past the first phase. My story is pretty rough, especially at the beginning, and now I think the ending makes it all worthwhile. It does have a high DNF rate. I don't blame anyone for giving up on it, but my disappointment came in that I got no feedback whatsoever. There was a lot of struggles. The judging teams, they have their own lives. They're also working on their own work. It's a lot of work to get through it all. So as somebody who got nothing out of it in the end, except for probably the community side, which is quite nice, but I'm not really that active, so I wanted to try and bring something in it so that anyone who doesn't get through the phase in my group will have some small level of feedback, though they might not be happy with it. I am a bit anal when it comes to those things. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to structure this. I might have to wait a bit because I don't want to end up double reviewing books that go on into the next phase. It'll be kind of strange putting all this effort into a snippet of someone's review only to come later on and do another review, which I plan to make notes and write up little short snippets and stuff, and just wait until the rejections are announced and provide my own views after that. It's not ideal for all of us waiting. I'm sorry, I know you'll be hanging out for any information, and that wait is painful. I've been there, I know what it's like, but I think some feedback late is better than no feedback at all. The important thing to remember is that anything I post is my opinion only, and not necessarily that of my judge mates. I acknowledge the limitations of only reading the first part of any book. The beginning of books can vary widely in structure, and that some will be slower than others, and I also acknowledge first chapters are really hard to write, and as such they can often have a different tone for the rest of the story. What you get at the start can be completely different from the feel at the end, especially when you're a new author. We could possibly miss some really good stuff because of this limitation. So I'll try my hardest to take this in consideration. I want to look at the potential of a story. At the end of the day, what I'm looking at first off is what I enjoy. I'm a bit offbeat. I know I'll probably vote things as awesome and most other people might absolutely hate it. So that's just a reality. I tend to like strange stories that other people aren't really keen on. That's the reason why I began writing to begin with, was to write stuff I liked. But I'm also going to judge it in a way that if it doesn't appeal to me, will it appeal to a wider market, people other than me? Would that appeal be in the sci-fi realm? It is just mostly the potential of the book. I will also address criticisms and stuff like that. Some people appreciate it, others don't. I think it depends on how you approach things. I'm sorry if I do offend people, but it's not my intention. I'll just look at the story, I'll look at the characters, I'll look at the potential, and I'll rate on that. But at the end of the day, I'll also try and consider that, yes, this is just the first 10-20% of any given story, and that's not always enough to fully judge, but that's the limitations we have. And on that note, this is a time for a disclaimer. I am a bit of a negative Nancy. I find it far easier to pick up what's wrong with a story than what's right. My review style tends to be more on that. Even if I really love a book and I think it's absolutely fantastic, I tend to hyper-focus on the things that frustrated me in a story. So I apologise in advance if it does seem lopsided, but I'll try and make sure to let you know that yes, this was a winner for me, or I think it will be a winner for other people. Even if I'm being quite cruel and pointing out the flaws in your story, it doesn't necessarily mean I don't like the story. Always try to remember this is just one person's opinion as well, and it does vary widely. I'm a practical soul at the end of the day. I'm also a bit anal when it comes to storytelling, so this might be unappealing, but I hope people get something out of it, and I hope I keep going and can run through all the books in my allotment. I really do wish I'll be able to give feedback to you all. So thank you for putting up with this bit of a ramble, and good luck.